Hi, 91, your choice for hip-hop and R&B soul. Hello there. A new episode of Hampton Roads Voices entitled A Safe Summer. And today's episode is all about giving these kids something to do while they are at home with no homework to do, no school to go to. They just at home and you at work. You know what I mean? Just give them something to look forward to and keeping them busy, not only academically, but socially as well. I have special guest experts here with me, Nikissia Craig. I don't know why I want to keep saying Greg. She's a life coach and counselor from Whole Journey, and Zakkiyya Anderson. She's a marketing and outreach coordinator of the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Virginia. So all throughout this show, I'm going to be having either special guests calling in to tell us and tell you all about the different programs that are going on around the Hampton Roads area, and or I will be telling you about different programs that are happening in the area, like Hampton Hoops. We do have Nikissia White on the phone, so she'll be telling us about that in a bit. A little bit later, Virtuous Big Sister Group. And then Envision, Lead, Grow Bus Tour, Young Terrace Neighborhood Football Camp, and then, of course, the Virginia Caribbean Family Fun Day Festival that Hot 91 is sponsoring. Okay, so make sure that if you are not in your car for these whole 2 hours, that you're at least having on your phone or in your house or something, okay? All right, so let's get into it. First of all, ladies, hello there.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you doing?
It's hot.
Yes, it is.
It is so hot.
It is very hot. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
So exciting. Thank you so much.
So I want both of you guys because one of the things that I pride myself here on Hampton Roads Voices is that we always have special, like we have guest experts. We have people who know what they're talking about. They are qualified to talk about the particular episode. So tell us about what you do. Yeah.
So, as you stated, I am the marketing and outreach coordinator for Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeast Virginia. And so my role is pretty much just spreading the word about what we're doing. And Boys and Girls Clubs in particular, we have 11 clubs in all 7 cities. We serve nearly 3,000 kids every year, and that's during the summer as well. So, of course, that's why we're here. Our engagement is pretty much just making sure that our kids are model productive citizens. They get, meals at all of our different programs that we have. They're getting, BGCA research trained programming from our staff that's well trained as well. We make sure that our kids are having fun. They go on college tours. They're doing field trips. So keeping them engaged, but, having the fun at the same time. And just a little bit about my background as well. I've done nonprofit work for the past couple of years, and, I've worked with different arts education and youth programs, making sure that our kids, especially in low income and urban areas as well, are having these opportunities that some of them don't always have because of their circumstances. And so I'm really glad to be here today and kind of spread the word about what I know and what I'm willing to learn as well.
All right, and that is Zakkiyya Anderson. Moving on to Miss Nikissia Craig. Tell us about what you do.
Well, I'm a counselor and a coach at Whole Journey. And what Whole Journey is it's a wellness and counseling practice. And so we're based in the Greenbrier area of Chesapeake, but we have a satellite office in Virginia Beach. And we are hoping to open a Hampton office in the fall. So we're really excited about reaching different families and kids throughout the community. A little bit about my background is I started working in Hampton Roads in 2009. And so I've worked in different areas within mental health and within the community, whether it's substance abuse, children, families, and community-based counseling programs. I've worked in shelters, domestic violence shelters, mental health, psychiatric hospitals. So I've kind of been around the block in the area and seen quite a bit. And so I'm glad to be here to share and shed some light today.
Awesome. And they're going to let us know why it is important to have these children, especially our inner city urban children, busy during these summer months when they are quote unquote bored. Okay, so like I said, all throughout the show, we'll be talking about different programs and happenings for your children that, all around the Hampton Roads. Okay, so on the phone, I have Nikissia White, and she's going to tell us about Hampton Hoops. Nikissia, are you there?
Yes.
Hello
Hi,
there.
ladies. How y'all doing today?
Doing great. Thank you for being here and telling us all about Hampton Hoops. So really quick, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself. You are help me out. You're the City of Hampton's Youth Violence.
Nikissia White. I'm the City of Hampton's Youth Violence Prevention Program Manager. I manage this office out of the City Manager's office here in the City of Hampton. I have been working in working with communities, and I've worked in the cities of Hampton and Newport News. Also a part-time staff member for the Virginia Commonwealth University Center for School Community Collaboration, and I've been in Hampton for about the last 11 years.
Awesome. Okay, so tell us a little bit about Hampton Hoops. What is the mission and the goal that the city of Hampton had in mind with this program?
Well, last summer we looked at some data, and last summer, Monday through Thursday in the evenings is when we had the most negative contact with young people in the city of Hampton. And then fast forward to this year, requested and had a conversation with our city manager to utilize some funding to give an opportunity to young people to come in and watch everybody play ball and play ball together. A lot of the concerns we had from parents were about organized recreation activities being expensive. There is an expense to do business, and so a lot of organizations are charging the bare minimum, but that bare minimum can be too much for many of our young people and their families. So we cranked up Hampton Hoops this year. It is the first year. So far, so good, but 3 divisions, 11 to 14, 15 to 17, and 18 and over. Each division plays twice a week, and the subline or the subtitle on it is More Than Basketball, because we've also asked people from the community if they have a community-based organization, they want to come out and share information with the young people who and their families, because after this ends, we still want them to come into community centers. We still want them to get connected with positive programs and resources. So, for example, when we did our initial reach out, our Citizens Unity Commission came over and provided information that encouraged our young people to apply to be on their youth advisory board. So we distributed that to all of the young people and their parents in the age range. Hampton University's TRIO program came over and provided flyers and parent packets. And so we are still looking for organizations who want to do something similar. If they're interested, they can give me a call in the office, 727-2730.
Okay, awesome. Is it too late for a child to sign up?
Registration has closed. Our adult league and our 11 to 14 leagues or divisions are busting at the seams. However, 15 to 17, we only had, believe it or not, 8 kids register.
Oh, wow.
So what we did was we still registered those young people. They still are playing on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. at YH Thomas Community Center. And as a former executive director for YH Thomas Community Center, it's a wonderful facility, a great gym, and we invite those young people over, and we encourage them to bring a friend. So thankfully, this past week, those 8 young people who registered got the word out, and we ended up with 24 young people.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're encouraging everybody to, if you're playing ball or you just want to hang out and you want to be in a safe space, and you're between the ages of 15 and 17, then come on over to YH Thomas. We have volunteers there who can get you registered and get your parents to complete your waiver so you have something fun to do with your friends on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And that is only for the citizens of Hampton, correct?
We initially did talk about that, but because a lot of to be quite honest with you, our kids don't make bad decisions with only kids who live next door to them. And so we did allow other folks to register. The majority does have to be City of Hampton residents, but we have allowed young people from outside of the City of Hampton to register. Okay,
that's awesome. So is it a strong chance that this program will be back next summer?
That strong chance, honestly, is going to depend on the volunteer support and how it continues. We were able to do this because most of the people who called my office and had the concern, we kept their information, and we have recruited folks to be coaches, assistant coaches, team parents, helping us sign kids in, helping us complete registration. So it's going to depend heavily on the sustainability of the volunteer support.
Awesome.
Some of the fixed costs we've got down, we've purchased our jerseys. Parks, Recreation, and Leisure Services has allotted us the space in the facility. And then, of course, we have the officials who are in there. And so the volunteer component and taking care of fixed costs early will help us to continue this in the future.
Okay. So if adults are interested to see more information, is there a website that they can go to?
Yes, they can check out our website, hampton.gov/youthviolence. And on the left side of the screen, you'll see all of the things that we have going on, including Hampton Hoops, and the link is still up there if they were interested in volunteering. And if they view it on a mobile device, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom. Just as a heads up, if you search hampton.gov/youth violence right now, it's all going to pop up. But the office name is in the process of being changed, and so we're vetting that. Okay. But if you Google City of Hampton, Hampton Hoops, or Summer Youth Employment or any other youth violence prevention initiative, you'll be able to find us.
Awesome. Thank you, Cynthia. I really, really, really appreciate you talking to us about Hampton Hoops.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate the opportunity. You guys have a good night.
You too. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
All right, so I just put that on our Facebook wall. Well, in the process of doing that, putting that on our Facebook wall. If you are interested, or if you are, you live relatively close to Hampton and you want to be involved in Hampton Hoops, go ahead and check that out. That is on our Facebook wall right now. WNSB 91.1. Now, ladies, what is the importance? We're going to hop right into the conversation. And if you want to be a part of the conversation, Hampton Rose, actually, I'm going to ask you a question. What are you doing, parents, to keep your kids busy this summer? Maybe what you're doing could help out another parent who's listening or who's racking her brain like, how can I keep these kids busy when I'm at work? So what are you doing to keep your kids busy during the summer months? Give us a call, 823-9110, 757-823-9110. Okay. So why is it important for youth, especially those in inner cities, in urban areas? Why is it important to keep those kids busy during the summer months? Why?
So I'll take that one. I think it's really important. You know, what we say with Boys and Girls Clubs is that between the hours of 3 to 7 after school, that's when kids get in the most trouble. And that does not change in the summer. Just that time period is really, really essential. So when kids are doing different things, that's when boredom strikes. I guess they get hungry. They start going walking to 7-Eleven or whatever. But so what we're doing is we're making sure that these kids are having that time structured in a safe and positive place where they can know that their friends are already there. You don't have to go looking for anybody. You have people you can play with. We have basketball. We have all your whatever you need. We got it here. And then people always say, you know, when we're looking at, you know, interview skills and what people are doing nowadays, recruiters want you to have these soft skills. They want you to have these things that don't really come into play in a classroom. And so when you're getting these kids that are in low-income communities who might not have access to libraries or different community programs that are kind of more affluent and, you know, more advantaged neighborhoods, you're kind of putting them already at this disadvantage where you don't even get these jobs or even get calls back from recruiters because you don't have these other skills that you learn in things like summer camps or different things like Hampton Hoops that she was talking about. So it's really important to make sure that our kids especially are being able to get these different just resources and, you know, the college tours that I spoke of as well, and going on field trips, doing things like job shadowing during the summer. That's such a different experience than saying that I don't have anything to do. Right. As opposed to you're going to Old Navy or you're going to Gap and you're already meeting these people who hopefully in the next couple of years or next couple of months you're going to ask for a job and they'll say, oh, I know you already. You're a good kid. You're with Boys and Girls Clubs or whatever the case may be. Let's get you involved and let's get you with a job. And that jump starts the process. Mm-hmm. You know, we don't want our kids always starting behind the 8 bell every single time. So these different, you know, keeping your kids engaged in the summer, make sure that these kids can have a chance at different things throughout the course of their life.
Yeah, I totally agree. I would say that, you know, it's so important to have something prepared, some sort of structure for kids, because what happens when summertime comes, the big difference from when school is in is that you just have the freedom. And you have a lot of times a lack of supervision. Mm-hmm. And so I think that for most parents, what they hope is that at the end of the day, when someone's not there, your child's making the best decision possible for themselves. But that just doesn't always happen. And so for that reason, what happens when you get extra time? You get real busy doing things maybe you shouldn't be doing. And so finding ways to really limit that or to really find activities that promote their interests, discover passions is really important. And the summertime's the perfect time to do that because there's been so much focus on school during the school year.
Yeah, the summertime can be all about extracurriculars and like you guys said, I think that's pretty good. Okay, got some good legit experts on the show like we always do. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'll have Shamira Wright on the phone. She's going to tell us about our her Virtuous Big Sister Group program for young girls. Yeah, so you are tuned into Hampton Rose Voices, and this episode is entitled A Safe Summer. And I still want to hear from you, Hampton Rose. What are you doing this summer to keep your kids engaged, keep them involved, and not keeping them bored during these summer months? 757-823-9110, 757-823-9110. Or you can talk to us on Twitter and Facebook using the hashtag HRV. Make sure you keep it locked. It's Hot 91. Hot 91, your choice for hip-hop and R&B soul. Hampton Roads Voices. Khilo is here, and I am here with a new episode as well. A Safe Summer. This episode all night long, well, all show long, we'll be talking about how to keep kids occupied, how to keep them engaged, how to keep them productive during the summer months, and why that is important. I have very special guest experts on the show. Zakkiyya Anderson, she's a marketing and outreach coordinator of the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Virginia, and also Nikissia Craig, life coach and counselor from Whole Journey. And also, all throughout the show, I'll be telling you about different programs that are happening in the Hampton Roads area that you may not have heard about or you don't know anything about, but you probably want your child to be a part of. A couple minutes ago, we had spoke to Sanithia White, and she was telling us about Hampton Hoops, and that is on our Facebook wall. And now we'll be talking to Shamira Wright. She has a big sister group called Virtuous. Let's see if she's on the air. Hello, you're live on the air. Is this Shamira?
Yes, how are you?
Hey, Shamira, girl.
Hey.
She was on the Kickstart, so we kind of know each other now. So, Virtuous, it's a big sister group, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so can you first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you start such a initiative?
Okay, yeah, so I am Shamira. I had just moved to the area from South Carolina in January. That's where I was born and raised. And my initiative for wanting to start this group is because I do have a passionate heart for wanting to build up positivity in our youth. And this group is aimed more so towards our girls' youth because I know I can relate to them depending on what they have been through in their life.
Right. Okay. All right. So tell us about Virtuous. What is the purpose and the end goal of Virtuous?
So, the name, I came up with the name Virtuous. That is based off of the Proverbs 31:25 in the Bible. And then my purpose is to develop young ladies to become successful women and leaders in our community. My purpose also is to help them to increase self-esteem because I know up until my teenage years, I did struggle with self-esteem issues and, depression and everything along those lines. And also, I do want to help them reach positive goals in their life so that they can flourish. I also have a vision that is to equip, our young ladies to develop a deeper relationship with Christ, teaching them to be anchored in the Word and impacting their generation positively.
Okay. All right. So potential participants, what do they have to look forward to if they've joined Virtuous?
So my potential participants and parents, they also can look forward to a lot of great things. I do have a meeting scheduled for next Saturday, July 22nd at 3 o'clock p.m. That's at the Churchland Library on High Street. I got it right this time. I said Court Street in the last interview, but it's actually High Street.
Okay.
And that we will have like vision board parties, monthly meetings, and I'm also scheduled for September. I want to do a big tea party for the girls, and I will have a speaker come in to speak on life issues. I'm also planning this big empowerment session for next year where I do want to have different workshops, to help the girls get to where they need to be in life. I want to have Mother's Day brunches, Father's Day brunches, Thanksgiving. I want to go out into the nursing homes and just kind of help, the elderly. I just have a lot of great things planned for this group, and I'm really excited about it.
Of course. So, of course, in order to have a whole big group of young girls, first of all, what's the age group?
The age is age 5 to 17. So any age between 5 and 17, they're welcome. And we do need mentors,
right?
Ages 18 and up.
Okay. So how can one become a mentor, or do you have, how do you say, like a requirements for who you would like to volunteer and to mentor these girls?
Not, just kind of be on the same level that I'm on. Basically, I can't say that perfect level because nobody is perfect, but I kind of want them to be able to, get, pour into our girls and kind of be an impact to them. That's my whole purpose of this group, is kind of, wanting to be basically a role model to them, being that virtuous woman. That's why I got the name Virtuous, trying to get our young girls to grow up to be that Proverbs 31 woman, that virtuous woman.
Absolutely. And you said the interest meeting is next Sunday, July the 22nd?
Yes, ma'am. It's next Saturday, July 22nd.
What time?
At 3 p.m., and that's going to be at our Churchland Library over here in High Street in Portsmouth, Virginia.
Alrighty. So if they're interested, how can they get in contact with you? How can they get more information, social media handles?
Yeah, they can simply just contact me. My phone number is 757-386-9544. I am also on Facebook as Shamira Shantae, and my Facebook name is CHIMYRA, and then Shantae is SHAWNTA. And again, my phone number is 757-386-9544.
Awesome. And I just posted her on our Facebook as well, WNSB 91.1 FM. You can see a big flyer with her contact information and her Facebook handle. Well, Shamira, thank you for calling in again, girlie, and telling us all about Virtuous. I'm very excited about your program.
Yeah, I am as well. Again, I hope, I can reach out to these young girls. That's just my goal, to kind of get our young ladies, where they need to be in life. Because in the world these days, there are a lot of things that, impacting our young girls. And my goal is to kind of, teach them to be, women, to grow into that nice, classy woman.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Yeah. All righty. Well, have a good weekend.
You too, Khilo.
Thank you. All right, and I still want to hear from you, Hampton Roads. What are you doing with your children throughout this summer to make sure that they are engaged, they are productive, that they may not be losing what they learned over the school year? 757-823-9110, 823-9110. Now, ladies, my special guest experts, some will argue that allowing kids to recharge during their breaks without any learning is letting them be kids, just letting, giving them a break. However, studies show that those losses can add up and have lasting effects, especially for students in low-income families who may not have access to libraries or museums or some of the things that you were talking about, Zakkiyya. What is your take on continuing learning or academic progress throughout the summer? Nikissia, we can start with you.
Well, I think that, it's so important to really create an outlet where your kids can be kids. So first and foremost, I remember growing up, my parents told me that my job was school, right? And I understood that. But even with our jobs, we go home at a certain time, we clock out, we take breaks. And so the summer is out for the kids. So we have to really be respectful of that, I think, being really reasonable and realistic with that. But I will say that to say, a lot of times we associate education with only school. Mm-hmm. And it's important that kids know that you should be learning, and education also happens outside of the classroom. So you should be learning at home, how to cook, mm-hmm. how to organize things, how to keep your room clean. Mm-hmm. You should be learning, if you go to church, how to maybe sit, hold attention. You should be learning everywhere you go. And so I think that's important for parents to really instill into their children that learning happens everywhere. I will say that for parents, when they come into my office, I really do emphasize the importance of structured, but even within that, structured fun. Mm-hmm. So creating a space where your child can explore things, do things just really on their own, not judging them for wanting to have interests that maybe aren't college-oriented or goal-oriented. So creating a space where they're scheduled to learn, and then also to really just kind of be who you are and explore that as well. That makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, touching on what you said, Nikissia, I think it's really important to kind of restructure our thought of what learning is, because it seems so daunting, right? If you're talking to most kids, they're not going to want to say that they love school. Because it's like, what? No, I don't love school. But if we talk about learning as an experience, or making it seem as though you're doing different things, think about you going to the gym. If you're doing the same thing going to the gym every day, you're not going to like it. You got to diversify. Let's change what the conversation is around learning, and make sure that our kids don't have this disassociation with what learning is. So, in the studies show, like you said in your question, kids lose 2 to 3 months. If they're in low-income families, they lose 2 to 3 months of that information if you just say, we're not going to do anything during the summer. And that makes our teachers' jobs harder, and we don't want to do that. They're busting their butt. So I think it's really important, like you said, to have that structure no matter what it is. Let's give our kids something, even if you feel like you don't want to kind of, beat their brow, so to speak, with education and, times tables every single day. But give them something so they're not losing that information and they get, again, behind the 8 ball.
Times tables every single day. That's triggering, okay? Because my mama pulled out those flashcards, and then we will be, I don't know, driving down the street, and she will be like, "What's 10 times 4?" And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh!"
I had book reports. I had book reports.
I did book reports in the summer too. Mm-hmm. My parents weren't really playing.
They weren't playing,
not at all. But hey, here we are.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
exactly. So, kind of just going a little bit deeper with Nikissia, as far as education is not just in the classroom. But both of you guys, how can one, like a parent, make sure that their child isn't losing what they learned throughout the school year, or perhaps what they learned in church, or how can they continue to make sure that that is retained throughout the summer's months?
I think it's all about the approach, first and foremost. I think whenever you're putting anything on the table that might make you a little defensive, or you really know that, it can trigger some feelings, it's important to really look at how you approach it. So with parents, a lot of times, I encourage them to really focus first and foremost on really connecting with your child before then you go into what you want to see from them. Mm-hmm. So the connection piece is being able to have a conversation where you're not just waiting to say what you want to say, but you're actually listening to what your child is telling you. And so when you have that shared understanding of what your child feels, what your child is thinking, you're able to then steer it in a way where maybe it's a win-win for both of you all. So that's something that I think is very, very important, the approach that we use when we're trying to motivate our kids to learn. I think it's also really good for parents to allow their children at some point to take the ball into their own hands and to really explore and be able to say what they want. What I find is that a lot of times parents insert information, like, so do you want to do this? No? Okay, but you need to, and this is why you want to do it. And so it's important when it comes to things that are beneficial for your child in the long run that you are taking the time to even hear and really listen to what your child may have to say. And I say that by asking parents to, literally just listen. Mm-hmm. You don't talk. Mm-hmm. And you get information that way from kids. And so with that, you're able to find ways to really integrate what they like with what you would hope for them in the future. And I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm. I think it's important to, parents, you're not alone. There have been people that have been doing this for a long time, parenting and also coaching parenting. So use these resources. You don't have to reinvent the wheel with, getting in touch with your kid. Reach out to people like Nikissia who have these different, programs for you to say, oh my goodness, I'm overwhelmed. What can I do for my kid? Google is an amazing tool. They have different programs out there that tell you how you can reach out to your kid and keep them learning during the summer. And you touched on a really good point, Nikissia, that I went to a camp last year that I worked at that let the children decide what classes they were going to be in for the summer. And of course the parents were involved. But if you're spending money, first of all, on sending your kid to a camp, you want to know that they're going to be engaged in what they're doing. So don't waste their time and your money, not talking to them. Let these kids be involved with what they want to do, because you're going to have a situation where there's disconnect between you and the child and what they want to learn. Again, you're not making learning fun for them. So it's important that we're making sure these kids are involved in what they're doing, but also, use these resources. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I think a lot of times we have this oh man, I don't want to seem like I'm, don't know what I'm doing. We don't know all the time what we're doing, so it helps to make sure that we're utilizing these resources and getting people to help us what we might not know.
Yeah.
And I think a really big barrier that we find in our community, especially in low-income communities, is the writing, the English and the language barriers. And so that's a skill that you really have to practice in order to keep it. And so even with that, I encourage parents to just use everyday situations to reinforce that. So if your child likes to watch X, Y, and Z show, and it's appropriate, but maybe you just don't like it, let them watch X, Y, and Z show and then write you a report, or write in their journal, or write something down about how they felt about it, what they learned from it, why they like it, to keep the mind fresh and engaged. But again, combining that with something that they like their favorite TV show or their favorite artist. Has that artist written a book? Mm-hmm. Let's go get the book. Mm-hmm. Look online for the book. Read the book. Tell me what you thought about it. Write it down. An artist in using their music. So you like these songs, maybe then you can sit down and write poetry, rap. So encouraging their interest, but then using it to also build a skill at the same time is important.
Yeah, yeah.
I am such an advocate of arts education and letting kids use their creative expression to learn. I used to have this book called Amazing Grace, and I forget the author, but it was a little picture book back when I was young. But the girl would do just that. She would read certain books or watch certain movies, and then she would like make her parents like go buy her certain things, so where she could act out what was going on. And it seems so like kind of trivial, but think about what you're doing when you read something or watch something, and then you are able to go reenact that. You're learning the characters, you're learning the plot, you're learning about how to design sets, even in some cases. If you're, taking your little box that you had and making a whatever out of it, those types of skills, what we're talking about right now, are going to let your child kind of dig into what they want to do in the future.
Exactly.
And that is so profound, but it's very simple. You don't have to do a lot. You don't have to have a lot to let your child learn in different and fun and creative ways that they already want to do anyway. They already want to listen to music. They already want to watch music videos or whatever the case. Spin it. Let them see that, okay, learning experience, I got you, I'll spin it around on you.
Yes. And I think the summer is a really good time to do that. They're not, like Nikissia said earlier, they're not bogged down with the academics. They're not bogged down with the SOLs and having to do this. And, it can get kind of dry sometimes. So these June, July, August, these are the times where you can, of course, educate, like Zakkiyya saying, but, put a cute little spin on it and make sure they have fun. All right. So Hampton Rose Voices is live right now. Today's episode is entitled A Safe Summer. I have Nikissia Craig here. She's a life coach and a counselor from Whole Journey, and Zakkiyya Anderson, marketing and outreach coordinator of the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Virginia. And we have you, Hampton Rose. I want to hear from you. What are you doing with your children to make sure that they are learning, that they are retaining, that they're having fun during the summer? 823-9110, 823-9110. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation and continue spreading the word and let you know about different programs that are happening for your children in the Hampton Roads area. Keep it locked right here as Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 19. Hot 91, your choice for hip hop and R&B soul. You are tuned into Hampton Roads Voices. Oh yes, and today's episode is entitled A Safe Summer. We're making sure that your kids are productive, they're engaged, they're having fun, but they're also learning during the summer, okay? Because an idle mind is the devil's playground. When you at work, you don't know what these kids doing when they walk into the store or even when they're at home, So, we have special guest experts here. Nikissia Craig, she's a life coach and counselor from Whole Journey, and Zakkiyya Anderson, marketing and outreach coordinator of the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Virginia. Also, all show long, I'll be telling you about awesome programs that are free, okay, that your child can be a part of all summer long or for a couple weeks. Before we had Hampton Hoops over there in Hampton. It's open to anybody who wants to come and, just watch the kids play, perhaps, get in a game or two, and also open to volunteers. And we also talked to Shamira Wright from Virtuous Big Sister Group as well. So I encourage you to check those out on our Facebook page, WNSB Hot 91.1. And in a bit, I'm going to be telling you about Envision, Lead, Grow Bus Tour for young girls. Okay, so we have a couple callers on the line, so I guess we'll get straight to them. Hot 91, you're live in the air. Who am I speaking with?
You're speaking with David Woods. How you doing?
Hey, Mr. Woods, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are y'all sisters?
Doing great.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
What's your comment, question, or concern, sir?
I was actually calling to speak about my summer program, which is entitled Kodesh Summer.
Is it free, sir?
It is available for all those who want to participate. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll go right ahead.
We are. You can find us on Facebook because we do homeschool. We are a cultural homeschool at Set Apart Homeschooling Academy, in which you can find the flyer and information about the school and about the summer camp. In regards to the summer camp, we will be going to the Cultural Museum in D.C. to learn about our culture here. And during the camp, we will be learning about our culture before we got to the Americas. We'll be learning about the scriptures in the Bible, and we'll be playing games in order for it to be a fun experience, but learning throughout.
Okay. All right. And then again, where can they find this information?
They can find it at Set Apart Homeschooling Academy, which is on Facebook. That's our name on Facebook. And you can call me, David Woods, at 770-896-1474.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Woods, for sharing.
No problem. Thank you.
No problem. We do have another call on the air. This is what Hot 91 is all about, especially Hampton Roads Voices. It's all about community, getting the word out there about great community events. And we only push community events that don't cost you anything, okay? Because, yes, I know the struggle. Hot 91, you're live in the air. Who am I speaking with?
Hello.
Hey.
This is E. How are you?
I'm sorry, your name?
My name is E.
Oh, hi, E.
I'm doing good. You know, I just wanted to kind of piggyback on something that one of your guests did.
Okay.
I am a mother of two, and every summer my children used to go to my mother's house in another state, and she had other grandchildren that came there. And I guess I say this based on the fact that you don't have to have a whole lot of money to do something with children. Just use your creativity. And one of the things that my mother used to do is she would have the children to watch the videos of Cinderella or the one with Brandy in it, I have to say, as well as The Wiz and other plays like that or videos like that. And she made them into plays. And the children, my children and her other grandchildren and other children in the community would come together, and they would learn the script of these plays, and they did very, very well with it. And every year she would have a play right there at our home, and they eventually learned how to do the as you said, the backdrop and do the costumes and all of those kind of things. And it is possible. It just takes someone who has the will and the tenacity to work with the children to get them to a certain point. And I will say that all of my mother's grandchildren now are in college or have gone to college, are very articulate, very bright, not afraid to stand up in front of people and present themselves. And it's given them the confidence and the self-assurance in knowing who they are, because they have been taught how to do these things. And I think that we as adults can really think, you know, creatively about how we can continue to strengthen our children through just very, you know, nominal ways that cost nothing but our time. And so I just wanted to share that.
Well, thank you, E. You sound very familiar.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But it's something that my mother did with my children. And because of that, my children have grown, and my nieces and nephews have grown. And, I mean, we did The Wiz about 2 times. My daughter was the Scarecrow, and then she was the Tin Man. And it brought out skills and abilities and talents that they never knew they had.
Absolutely.
From singing to dancing to, you know, acting, that, you know, really played a big major part in their lives as young adults. Well, first of all, these children started when they were like 3 and 4 or 5 years old. But it grew over the years, and then she made it into a production that the community would come out to see every summer, you know? And when the community came to see it, she, of course, do a big cookout and things like that. But these are the things that these children need to keep them very active, you know? And I'm not saying off the street as much as keeping them in a way in which they are productive in their own lives.
Right.
You know, and making a contribution to the communities that they live in.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you, Miss E. Have a great weekend.
You too. Everyone too. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Khilo.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
E is actually my station manager, executive producer of this show, Miss Edith Thorpe. But yes, what she said is absolutely correct. We used to do that as children. Myself, me and my cousins would, just make up dances. And I think things like that, something as simple as that teaches confidence, like to go along with what she was saying. It teaches confidence and teaches you how to present yourself. And it only takes that one adult or that one parent to say, hey, I'll watch you do the script, or I'll watch you do, your dance or what have you. So there is another program that I would like to tell you guys about, the Envision Lead and Grow program, designed to help girls build their futures through entrepreneurship. But we're going to take a quick break. Like by quick, I mean 30 seconds. So hold on really quick.
Norfolk State University Broadcasting, WNSB, Norfolk, Chesapeake, 91.1 FM, and HD1, Virginia's only full-time urban public radio station. Hot 91.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not those of Norfolk State University or WNSB FM. Thank you for listening. Yes, thank you for listening. Hampton Roads Voices, a safe summer. So if you or, your grandmother or your mother or anybody that you know in the community are doing great things for children throughout the summer to keep them productive, keep them engaged, I want to know about it. Give me a call, 823-9110, 823-9110 to tell me how you're keeping your children or your godchildren or your nieces and nephews productive throughout the summer months. Now, the Envision Lead Grow program is a great program designed to help girls build their futures through entrepreneurship, okay? They have a city tour bus that was going on all summer long, and the last stop is in Norfolk, and that is coming at the end of this month, all right? July 31st through August the 4th. So in order to qualify, your daughter or your niece or, any young girl that has to be a rising 5th to 10th grade girl. So a 5th through 10th grader, and she has to, of course, attend all 5 days of the camp, and she has to be able to show that she has a 2.5 grade point average. What is it exactly? So it is a 1-week immersion entrepreneurship program for middle school girls to high school, with the opportunity to win a $500 award. Okay, it's ongoing weekly mentorships and peer groups, monthly support groups, webinar sessions, and of course, it is an opportunity to participate in the Envision Lead Grow Fellows program in 2018. Okay, again, it is open for girls from 5th to 10th grade. She will have to attend all 5 days of the camp and have to be able to show that she has a 2.5 grade point average. Happening in Norfolk, Virginia, July the 31st through August the 4th. They have been to Memphis, Tennessee. That kicked off on June the 12th. They've been to Greensboro, North Carolina, been to ATL, Atlanta, Georgia, Baltimore, Maryland, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Richmond, Virginia, our capital, and then now they are in Norfolk. If you are interested, I advise you to go ahead and log on to envisionleadgrow.org. They are also looking for mentors and volunteers. So if you're interested in pouring into these young girls through entrepreneurship webinars and seminars and things of that nature, log on to envisionleadgrow.org. Okay? All right. So, ladies, Nikissia Craig, life coach counselor from Whole Journey, and Zakkiyya Anderson, marketing and outreach coordinator of the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Virginia. Let me, let's get a little bit deeper in this conversation. So, we were talking about learning and how they can continue to learn throughout the summer. So for the parents who, it's probably about 2 to 3 weeks before they go back to school. Let's just say that that's where we are in August. And they want to make sure that the kids are, getting in those academics that they learned from last year or the upcoming year. Which one should they do, or should they do both, in your opinion?
I think that a combination typically wouldn't hurt. I would, that's kind of where I would start. But I would also think back to where they were at the end of the school year. So I would encourage parents to maybe have a conversation with your child's teacher or teachers towards the end of the school year to see what their recommendations might be. Should Johnny really brush up on their math? I know for me, I was always struggling with math. So that was something that I really did have to practice more of. It didn't come naturally. What I would say, if a parent really wants to focus on things that are coming up ahead and they haven't really tackled it, is, again, my thing is always look at your approach. What you really don't want to do is you don't want to discourage your child before they've really had the opportunity to learn something. So if you are going to approach something new, then it's going to be important for you to be patient with them. The other thing that I would also put out there is, for parents, we have to really brush up on how they're teaching things nowadays. They don't always teach it the way they taught us, and that could also be really confusing and difficult for your child if you're teaching like this old school approach, and it don't work like that no more, right? So as parents, always brush up on it, because you don't want to add confusion and stress to something that's already stressful at times, which is a difficult subject that you already know.
Right.
But it can't hurt to reinforce what you know you're kind of weak at. But a combination, I couldn't see it really hurting.
Right. And around the time I was learning algebra, I went to my dad and I was like, Dad, okay. He was like, this is not arithmetic. I'm like, Dad, they haven't called it arithmetic in I don't know how long, okay? So clearly you can't help me. Zakkiyya, what do you say?
I think it's really important. Cover the basics. You know, a lot of things that you're going to learn, depending on where you are, it still has a basic. And if your kids kind of lose track of the basics, they're already, lost. They're already behind. And so even if you're not familiar with how teaching it now, you know how to add, you know your multiplication, you know how they should be reading, how they should be talking, how they should be presenting themselves. So cover the basics. If it seems daunting to you, again, ask a neighbor. There's somebody in your neighborhood who's probably a teacher, to be honest, and talk to them and see if y'all can get a group together. A lady that is called Miss E talked about the community getting involved. I think community support is so important.
Yes.
Make sure you reach out to people. But yeah, you need to make sure that your kid isn't, because I know I wasn't always, and I was a pretty good student, but I wasn't always like tuned in the first couple weeks of school because your outfit's looking whatever, and that new guy came in, and so you just want to make sure that your kid at least has a little bit of a preparation before they go back to school.
Right, and my mom was really big on that, making sure that I'm learning what's next, and I think that has a lot to do with the parents being involved. So before we even get out of school, maybe the parents should be taking advantage of having a parent-teacher meeting. Hey, what, like Nikissia just said, what can they brush up on, or what are they looking forward to in the 6th grade or in the 7th grade? What would they be learning? So that when you sit them down on August 25th, and then when they go into the classroom in September, they're not like, oh my gosh, what is this? They kind of are a little bit more familiar.
And I'll say too, just talking about Boys and Girls Clubs, a lot of our kids, if they're part of our summer program, they were also part of our year-round program. And these people, trained staff, they know your kids. So talk to them. They know that Johnny is, struggling or has been struggling during our power hour, what we call it, our homework help section. They're struggling with math in particular. So they can tell you, look, hey, I know you might not have this much time, but take 20 minutes out of your day. Or you go talk to him and say, hey, what is my child not doing so well with? Because we still do have that as part of our summer program as well, some learning activities. And talk to them and say, hey, what are they not picking up? What are they not grasping? Again, if the people in your community do know what your child is going through, your teachers, their mentors, their program leaders, and talk to them and say, hey, what can we work out, or can you help me with this so that my child isn't, losing track of what's going on?
Right. We don't want them losing anything, okay? We want them moving forward. So Hampton Rose Voices is live right now. Today's episode, A Safe Summer, is all about making sure they're doing just that, making sure that they are safe. And just like Miss E said, it's not so much having them off of the street. They can be in the house, okay, being bored and texting somebody that they don't need to be texting, or, just having those skills that they should be probably freshening up on, just being wasted. So give us a call, and I want to know what you are doing with your child. Or if you are a kid that's listening and you want to do something this summer, maybe throw it out there so that another parent can know, my child might want to do that too. What do you want to do this summer? Or parents, what are you doing with your kids this summer? 757-823-9110, 823-9110. And all show long, like I said, we are sharing programs and events for free that you can have your child involved in so that they can, have some fun this summer. We already talked about Hampton Hoops. We talked about Virtuous Big Sister Group. And I just talked about Envision Lead Grow Bus Tour. All of that is on our Facebook, WNSB High 91.1. Coming up, we're going to be talking to Deshaun Fuller. He has a football camp in the Young Terrace neighborhood in Norfolk. Yes. And then also talking about the teens, how to keep the teens busy during the summer. All right. Make sure you keep it locked right here. It's Hampton Rose Voices on Hot 91. Hot 91, your choice for hip hop and R&B soul. Hello there. Happy new episode of Hampton Roads Voices. This episode is entitled A Safe Summer, and we are making sure that your children are having just that, a safe summer, a productive summer, an engaged summer. So rather they are learning or not, they are having fun. Hopefully they are learning. And by learning, I mean academically. They might not be learning, what's 2 times 2 and all the mathematical things, but they may be learning how to play an instrument or how to perform or how to, shoot the basketball or, what have you. Okay. So we have special guest experts on the show that's going to help us do just that, figure out how to keep these kids active. Nikissia Craig, she's a life coach and counselor from Whole Journey. And also Zakkiyya Anderson, she's a marketing and outreach coordinator of the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Virginia. So, all show long, we have been talking about programs and events that are for children, and they are free, to try to get them involved. And coming up right now, actually, we have Deshaun Fuller on the phone, and he's going to be talking about a football camp that he has started in a neighborhood in Norfolk, a well-known neighborhood as well. Hi, 91, Mr. Fuller, is that you?
Yes, that's me.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yes, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show today to tell your story about what you're doing for kids in your neighborhood.
Oh, yes. I thank you for this platform to be able to do so.
No worries.
The program is designed for children from the ages of 5 to 12. It's just teaching them the techniques of football and the life trials and tribulations and being able to overcome diversity, because it's not where you start, it's how you finish.
So before we get into that, I want to know a little bit about you, Mr. Fuller. What's your background? What kind of made you, or what inspired you to do a football summer camp in the first place?
Okay, well, I am originally from Youngs Park. I'm from the Youngs Terrace community. I grew up there. Football was my safe haven. I also played with the Clovis football organization as well. And I got out of football. I got out of the neighborhood through ministry. I'm also an ordained minister.
Oh, okay.
So when I gave my life to the Lord, I figured I wanted to give a part of me back to my community. So I decided that I was going to bring the football back to Youngs Park. It had been gone for over 2.5 years. And a lot of the children that I talked to out there said that they missed football and they wanted football back in their community. So due to the violence and a lot of things that have been going on in the community, they stopped playing football because no one wanted to put children in danger and not have a way to protect them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so is the football camp, you said it's for children ages what now?
From 5 to 12.
Is it only boys?
No, girls are welcome as well.
Okay. And it's only for the children of that neighborhood, Young's Terrace?
No, ma'am. It's open to anyone who's in Norfolk, and any resident of Norfolk.
Okay. So what is the feedback that you've heard from the kids who have been participating in your camp? What do you hear the most?
The most I hear is thank you. I hear a lot of thank you from moms. I hear a lot of thank you from the kids. A lot of kids just can't wait to be out a part of something. Our organization, like football, is what draws them closer out the house, and give them something to do. So,
okay. Do you have? Go ahead, Mr. Fuller.
It's when you actually have people who don't know you come up to you and say thank you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for bringing this to the community. Thank you for caring about our children. That makes it even more worthwhile.
Right. Are you interested in volunteers? Do you have volunteers that help you with the boys and the girls?
Yes, I have volunteers that's out there now, but I need more volunteers. I need help, donations, anything that's possible to help our children out there to achieve their goal of a successful camp. And it's also opening up the door for our football season because it's also a football league that we are entering into, and it's for Parks and Recreation, Norfolk Parks and Recreation Football League.
Awesome. So they'll be competing, they'll be playing all throughout the fall.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, is it too late for, if any children are interested in being a part?
No, ma'am. It's not too late. They have, they can come register at the Youngsters Community Center. They can come anytime and register.
Okay. Awesome. So there you have it. What about your social media handles? How can they find you on Facebook or?
Well, I'm at Deshaun Fuller on Facebook. You can find me there, and I'm also at Big Sean Fuller at yahoo.com. Big Sean Fuller 30 at yahoo.com.
Okay. So they should contact you if an adult wants to volunteer or anything like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and that is DESHAWN Fuller FULLER on Facebook. We're going to post that on our Hot 91 Facebook page to try to get everybody there. Thank you, Mr. Fuller, for sharing your football camp information with us.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and I pray that you go forward to helping these young kids who may not have the same opportunities as others. That you're pouring into them. So that kudos to you.
Yes, thank you so much.
No worries.
Thank you so much.
Have a good weekend.
All right, you do so. You do too.
Thank you. Yes, and give us a call if you want your child being a part of something and you want advice about it, or your children is involved in something and you want to spread the word about it. It has to be free. Give me a call 823-9110 823-9110. All right, ladies, my special guest experts. So, according to this article that I read on healthday.com, teenagers that get a summer job are much less likely to commit violent crime. And that is according to a new study that has been found. How young is too young to encourage summer employment or summer business for a child?
I don't know. How young can you be to start, having entrepreneurial ambitions? I think it's really important. But of course, I think maybe 15 is a good age to start encouraging. Well, really 14, I would say, encouraging your child to go out there and be a part of things. I know with Boys and Girls Clubs, we have our Torch Club and our Keystone Club, where we get kids, again, like I said, on the job training. They do job shadowing. They go to visit certain places and talk to these employers and even the employees about what their experience is, to get you familiar with interviewing, talking to people that are going to be in job settings, and just kind of getting it into the child's head or the teen's head that, having a job is cool. It is fun. You make your own money, and giving them that chance to be able to really think outside of what it means to be in the workforce, because even that could sound like that's really daunting, the workforce. You need to get to work, kid. But, having a job should be fun, especially a summer job. And then you go back to school with your own shoes that you paid for, and then you have ownership, and that's powerful as well. So that, I think maybe 14, 15 is a good age to kind of, encourage your child to be able to, get something of their own for themselves.
Yeah. Nikissia?
What I would say is, first of all, apply the labor laws. So we don't want to promote anyone doing too much work that's outside of the law. But I take it back to the lemonade stand. Depending on where you are. I remember setting up my little stand. I remember also trying to sell books.
Oh my
goodness. I kind of was,
twins.
from a young age, kind of like a little entrepreneur, like, what's in the closet? Oh, I don't like it. Let me go put this out here. And so what I would say with that, though, the benefit is that when parents get involved, it shows your child, too, that work is work. So having to even go get the stand, go get the ingredients and make it and all that kind of stuff, it was work. I was tired before the stand got up, right? But I learned that my parents are also tired when they get home. So instead of parents having to argue about it and be frustrated about it, providing the opportunity for your child to start practicing those kinds of skills shows them inherently. It's like, yeah, I do need a nap, Mom. I'm tired. So the lemonade stand, I would also say for tweens, babysitting. I remember, trying to make some extra money there. I used to mow the lawn. I didn't have the tools, but I would barter. So my uncle let me
out there. Okay.
I really was. I was trying to figure out how to get a buck. I saw my parents working really hard, and so it made me want to figure out how to help with that. But I used to mow the yard. I didn't have the utensils, but I'd barter. So exchanging what I could, and I could use your lawnmower. What I will say about finding that work, decreases the violence, I think sometimes we have this assumption that these kids in Chicago or in urban areas or, in certain parts around Hampton Roads, that these are bad kids, bad seeds. And what that article shows and what the statistics show is that these aren't bad kids. These are kids without opportunities.
Right.
So if you give me the opportunity, I'm going to show up. If you give me a motivation, I do want to earn it. I do want to learn. I think the other benefit of working from a young age, not with the pressure of you having to support the household, but being able to contribute to it, is that it shows you skills that you're good at that you didn't know you were good at. So at home, you're kind of told what you're good at. Your parents see the good in you, and so maybe they tell you, like, okay, she's good with this. But when you go and you work for somebody else, they see other things about you that your mama doesn't see. Your mom knows you're sloppy, so you get half the credit for what you do. But your employer sees you in a different light, and so it adds a different sort of value to yourself, and it really builds self-esteem.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think that's one of the biggest benefits of being employed as a young person.
Yeah.
The self-esteem and learning new things about yourself you didn't know.
Absolutely. And responsibility. Go ahead.
You talked on one point that I want to touch on just really quickly. I think when we think about violence, we forget what what causes the violence. You think about what necessity crime means and what it means to have to be, to be hungry. And you think about what a lot of these, kind of petty and non-violent crimes are even. And they're like robbery and I stole some food or I stole some money. And you think about the areas like Chicago, like Detroit, like these urban areas, and look at what's happening in these communities as a direct result to poverty. And so you have to think about let's be cooperative. Let's teach our kids, like tutoring, like you said, babysitting. If you know an instrument well, you can sell yourself and say, hey, I know how to play the piano. Let me offer lessons around the community, and let's give our kids some extra money in their pockets to kind of prepare them for what could be an entrepreneurial profession, or even if you want to work for someone else, which is fine. Being able to set yourself up for the future is really, really important.
Yeah, and making sure if you're 15, you can go get a work permit. I don't know. Sometimes things like that isn't broadcasted to our children, so they don't know. It's not broadcasted to our parents, so they don't know. But go see your guidance counselor in school. If you're 15 in 6 months, you can get a works permit. That's what it was when I was in school. I don't know if it changed. I'm not that old, but yeah, when I was about 15, I had my first job at Subway in on base because my father was in the military, and he would drop me off as early as 7 o'clock in the morning, and I would stay until 4 o'clock. And that was, I was rolling in dough. Okay. Yeah. It taught you responsibility. And then my dad would say, hey, $10 for gas every week. It taught you responsibility. Hey, give me $5 for the lights that you had for 2 weeks. Or, of course that really wasn't going towards that, but it was teaching me that, hey, I have to budget. I got $10 going here, $5 going here. I got, things of that nature. So yes, it affords a whole lot of things for these children. I'll tell you what, coming up in a bit, we have Carrie on the phone from MPs. You know him. He is going to be telling us about the Virginia Caribbean Family Fun Day Festival. Yes, instead of, trying to get these kids, not instead of, but in addition to getting the kids in camps and programs and things like that, maybe y'all could just have a family fun day, a whole Saturday to just do nothing, just enjoy their day, enjoy their time. Yes, I'm talking to him about that coming up in a bit. I have Nikissia Craig here, I have Zakkiyya Anderson here, and Khilo is here, and it is Hampton Roads Voices, a safe summer. Make sure you keep it locked, and also give me a call. I want to know what you're doing with your kids this summer. 823-9110, 823-9110. It's Hot 91. Hot 91, your choice for hip-hop and R&B soul. Hampton Roads Voices is live and direct right now with the new episode entitled A Safe Summer. I have special guest experts here, Nikissia Craig, life coach and counselor from Whole Journey, and Zakkiyya Anderson, marketing and outreach coordinator of the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Virginia. All show long, we have been talking about different programs that you can get your children in, like Hampton Hoops out in Hampton, Virtuous Big Sister Group, Envision Lead Grow Bus Tour, and the football camp happening in Young's Park, Young's Terrace. And all of those programs are on our Facebook wall, so please go check those out. WNSB Hot 91.1, all right? And last but not least, we're going to be talking to Carrie. Yes, he is from MPs, and he's talking to us about the Virginia Caribbean Family Fun Day Festival, and he is on the air right now. Let me see. Hey, Carrie.
Hey there, Khiara.
How are you? You're going to put my whole government out there as Khilo, sir.
Khilo.
Yes,
Okay,
thank
Khilo.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on the air.
Yeah, no worries. So tell us about this Virginia Caribbean Family Fun Day Festival.
Well, so a few months back, I partnered with Mike Palmer from MP Island Cafe, as everyone knows. Also, the nonprofit organization which he's started up, AMME. And we came up with this free public event at Mount Trashmore, the Virginia Caribbean Family Fun Day Festival, focusing on family and fun and some of the Caribbean cultural things that we would like to share with people, not just our food, because in this area, the food is very popular. Not just the music, but we do have live bands like Nature's Child that will be there. We have phenomenal sounds band, and not just the dance and so forth, but we also have the Zumba crew that will be out there led by Candace Alexander. We have costumes that will be displayed by Mass Confusion. But moreover, we have things that are geared for the kids.
Right.
We have the bounce house. We are going to try to do some of the games that we probably played when we were younger, which over here they would call it lime and spoon race, sack race, cornhole. Various things we'll be doing to try to connect people with the Caribbean culture. But it's not limited to that. We are open, for all, and we're just sharing. And we're hoping that everyone will come in and do their part as well.
Absolutely. So
to make it a success.
You said there'll be live bands there. Who exactly, from the top of your head, can we be expecting?
Well, we do have Nature's Child, which is a local band, and most of the acts are local. So there was a local artist by the name of Gutty. He released a song. It's an R&B song that was pretty popular on YouTube, I believe. And then the Nature's Child, which is a very popular reggae band. The Phenomenal Sounds band is an R&B band that's pretty popular as well. So those are just some of them. We do have, I don't know if I hope I don't violate anything, but we do have a possible celebrity that will be passing through the event as well.
Ooh.
So,
okay. And then again, you said this is free. When is this? When is this again? And where is it? One more time for the people.
Yes, and understand, it is completely free. It is free to the public. And it's July 22nd at Mount Trashmore. Come out, spend time with your family. It is important that you show your youngsters how they should act in public amongst other people. If we set the bar where you should come out and have fun, and there is no violence allowed, no violence needed, learn how to communicate and build networks. And, it may lead to success later on in life. But if we set the bar up there where this is the way our kids are supposed to act, then we would probably have less violence in the long run, at the end of the day. So, just to go along with your show and some of the things that you've spoken about today, I was listening in, and I love it.
Thank you, Carrie.
We got to keep the communication up and influence the good people to let them know there are more good in this world than bad, right? So we need to recognize the good that people are doing and make it be a standard and set a tone for everyone else to follow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So where can they, of course, the flyer is on our Facebook wall, but how can they get more information, or if they have any questions, how can they contact you?
Okay, my number is 757-576-6287, and you can call me for anything, and basically any kind of information. I have vendors calling me right now to be a part of the event next year.
Okay.
So, and to be a part of all our events in the near future. So feel free to call me.
Is there
I'm
a
always available.
Facebook page too?
Yes, Facebook. You can always go to my Facebook page. It's Kerry Lazarus, my first and last name, or you can go to MP Ultra Lounge or MP Island Cafe. You will see it. It's we have multiple pages out there. Easy to get in touch with us. And if you can't reach us that way, you can call the restaurant, MP Island Cafe, and you can also ask them to get in touch with someone dealing with these events, and they'll direct you.
Awesome. All right. The Virginia Caribbean Family Fun Day Festival. Carrie, thank you so much for telling us all about it.
Yes. And Khilo, you will be there representing. I'm sure you'll be hosting.
Yep.
You and Tiffany, so we'll see you there as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Have a good weekend. Be safe tonight.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes, the Virginia Caribbean Family Fun Day Festival. And like these lovely ladies have been saying all show, the summertime can be a time where you can teach your kids something other than academics in a fun way. So just like Carrie just said, you can teach them about a different culture, the Caribbean culture, and, how their food tastes or how they have fun or, different things like that. So that is happening July the 22nd from 11 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. out at Mount Trashmore. Absolutely free. Go ahead and check that out on our Facebook wall, WNSB High 91.1. All right, ladies, let's get back into this conversation. And by ladies, I mean I have Nikissia Craig here, life coach counselor from Whole Journey, and Zakkiyya Anderson, marketing and outreach coordinator of the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Virginia. All right, so besides summer camps, besides employment, besides programs, there may be a handful of things that children can do. What are some other things that children can do to remain busy and productive and engaged this summer?
I think we talked about it a little bit before, is that with the parents, keeping your kid engaged, even if you are probably a stay-at-home parent in this area as well, doing fun things with your kids at home and make sure that they're engaged and doing different things that are keeping them productive and active and really even proactive, I think is a good word to use as well, so that they're, jumping the gun on a couple of things that might be learning in school or different arts programs, learning how to play an instrument. You touched on that earlier. That's a huge thing. I don't play any instruments, but I wish that I did. That's a huge skill that I think a lot of our kids can, get in touch with, and really just being able to be a part of your community. I talked about a lot about community support as well, and being in touch with things that are going on, like the Family Fun Day Festival. There are so many different great events that are in the Hampton Roads area that are always going on, to beach days or different festivals, and, get your kids cultured in a different way that, we're not always used to in certain situations, but get them introduced to different things that are going on outside of just what we see on a day-to-day basis.
I really like that answer. I totally agree with that. I would also say possibly volunteering. I think sometimes we underestimate the value of that, but what can really come from volunteering is the idea that you don't always give to receive, right? So this idea that we're all a part of a community. One of the common themes, whether it's Hampton Hoops or the Virtuous mentorship program, everyone stated the fact that they all need volunteers. They all need mentors. And so whether you're on the adult side or the youth side, I think it really starts from a young age with implementing and instilling in your children that you need to contribute to your community. So I would go that route. A lot of kids like animals, so possibly like the SPCA, the Humane Society, where there's not a whole lot of risk and potentially, let's say, messing up somebody's order, your food, right? Working with the animals. I would look at possibly nursing homes where you could just go and your child could play games, bingo, checkers, building social skills, but also realizing that people older than you have value and being able to sort of have a reciprocal relationship with that. So there's a lot that can come from volunteering, I would say. But I also totally agree about just staying engaged in general and plugged in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to take one more break. And then when we come back, we're going to ask one more question, wrap up the conversation, wrap up the show. You'll find out how you can get in contact with these special guest experts. And then again, I'll go over about the great programs that we have talked about on this here show. A Safe Summer is what the episode is called. And Hampton Roads Voices is what you're listening to right here on Hot 91. Hot 91, your choice for hip hop and R&B soul. Hampton Roads Voices coming to a close now, and this episode was entitled A Safe Summer. We gave you some tips, some insights, some advice on how to keep these kids safe, keep them engaged, keep them productive during the summer months. I had, and I do have currently still, Nikissia Craig, life coach and counselor from Whole Journey, and Zakkiyya Anderson, marketing and outreach coordinator of the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Virginia. So all the programs that you heard mentioned during the show, you can always get those on our Facebook page. The events like the Virginia Caribbean Family Fun Day Festival, the Hampton Hoops, Virtuous Big Sister Group, Envision Lead Grow Bus Tour, and the football camp happening in the Youngs Park, Young Terrence neighborhood. You can you can get information about that again on our Facebook page. All right, ladies, so how can they get in contact with you if they're listening? They're like, you know what, that girl is sharp, and I want to see what else stuff is she working on. How can they do that?
So I'll start. Again, my name is Zakkiyya Anderson, work with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeast Virginia. And so if you want to email me personally, you can reach out to me at Z, as in zebra, Anderson at bgcseva.org, which is just Boys, Girls Clubs, Southeast Virginia.org. Of course, give us a call if you'd like to talk to any of us in the BGC SEVA office. Our number is 757-853-5632. And also our website is bgcseva.org. Like she was saying before, we're always looking for volunteers in the community. Of course, donations, whether that's time, treasure, or talent. If you have something to offer that is available to the community, we want to partner with you, want to get in touch with you. Right now we're doing this BGCA National Witness the Future campaign. If you donate supplies to any local Boys and Girls Clubs in all of our 7 cities, you can enter for a chance to win Katy Perry tickets. Yay, BGCA. But that's pretty cool. But again, just, about keeping people engaged and, donating to our supplies in our community, because our kids always need support, especially in the summer. So again, bgcseva.org, or call us at 757-853-5632.
853-5632. 5632. All right. And how about you, Nikissia?
Well, we have a website, and the address is wholejourneywellness.com. It's really long. Again, wholejourneywellness.com. Our number is 757-296-0800. And I'm always offering free consultations. So one of the things about Whole Journey and about us is that, if we can't do it, if it's not our specialty, then I would love to point you in the right direction. And so don't hesitate to reach out to me if you're having any sort of issue with, life in general, family, children. We want to know how we can support you. My direct email,ncraig@wholejourneywellness.com. And again, definitely don't hesitate to reach out for any kind of support.
And there you have it. Yes, do not be afraid to reach out for any type of support. I'm putting that on our Facebook page, as always, WNSB 91.1 FM. And we are almost this close to releasing a YouTube channel. Yes, a YouTube channel for Hampton Roads Voices. These episodes that you love so much, like the Black Dollar, like Safe Summer. What did we do last week? Like the Philando Castile shooting. All of these topics, whether they're heavy, they're light, they're all informational. There's things that you can take from it, and I'm sure that you want to replay it, you want to digest it, you want to get to it. So we're going to put all of our since Hampton Roads Voices have been back in January of this year, we're going to put all of our episodes on that YouTube channel. We're still working on that. We're trying to make sure that everything looks good first, and then I will let you know hopefully by this week. Just make sure you're following us on our Facebook page for those type of updates. Okay, I want to thank you guests, Nikissia and Zakkiyya. Yeah. I was saying it wrong the whole show. Yeah,
oh my goodness.
I'm sorry.
It's pronounced either way.
Okay, okay, good. Because I don't play with people's names because I don't want them playing with mine.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it.
Great.
And yes, and thank you for listening. Don't forget that you can listen to Hampton Roads Voices, a brand new episode Friday nights at 5 p.m. and also on Sunday afternoons at 12 noon right here on Hot 91. Keep it locked.